Hey y'all, and welcome to Politibrawl. My name is Brian, and this is a special, sort of a special message. Because we all know what day it is. We all know what time it is. We all know what's at stake. This video right here is the most important thing you can watch. And then the most important thing you can do after watching this is voting in for the candidate that they tried to assassinate. Let's go.
Think about all they've done to Donald Trump. First, it was hoaxes, witch hunts, and impeachments. Then it was FBI raids, courtrooms, and mugshots. Finally, it was bullets in a Pennsylvania field. And after all that, this man stood up with blood draining down his face, pumped his fists in the air, and told us to fight. Fight. Fight.
America's future will be bigger, better, bolder, brighter, happier, stronger, freer, greater, and more united than ever before. And we will make America great again.
We know what they think of us.
The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters.
So if Donald Trump can get through all of that, we can get out to vote.
This is a vote to avoid the iceberg. This is a vote to at least end the madness, and it's going to take years. And it's going to go through a lot of heartbreak. We're actually going to have a lot of disagreements because in true Republican fashion, what always ends up happening is there's infighting, we get mad, but then we come back together because this is the big tent party. I firmly believe that. And that's why this party is now welcoming in people like Vivek Ramaswamy, all right, who runs a little bit farther to the left, and I'll get to that in a moment. And then there's RFK Jr., who's a radical environmentalist. Some of what he says in that regard, I do actually really like. I'm an ex-park ranger. Then there's Tulsi Gabbard, who has had to switch parties because her party had left her. Her message is very simple. Our military has gone crazy. Okay, we're too bloated. We are in too many places at the worst possible times. We've got to stop this nonsense. And then he picks a man who was a never Trumper, J.D. Vance. And now Elon Musk is on board. And I think Joe Rogan is actually going to vote for Trump. These are the people that used to be not pinnacles on the left, but very loud voices with a large audience. And they're on his team. They're on the Trump team because they realize they have an opportunity to make politics sane again. Because they're smart enough to know things are not going well. Hey y'all, I'm not exactly looking at retirement anytime soon, but my parents are, and friends of my parents are, and I'm sure either you or someone you know is looking at retirement and wondering, what do I do? How do I help prepare for this in this economy with this terrible president and with a vice president who basically coup d'etat him and is now looking to run for president herself? How do you protect against this? Well, simple. You go over to my friends at Colonial Metals Group. They quite literally have something called the Retirement Package Plan. This plan backs your wealth with gold and silver accounts. And furthermore, you will have direct access to these accounts. So you're not at the whims of Wall Street. You're not at the whims of inflation. You are in command of your own destiny. As a bonus, qualified applicants can receive up to $10,000 in free silver, plus a couple of other little goodies that they're going to package up for you, and you're going to be able to protect your wealth and your retirement. So go over to this link in the description below at colonialmetalsgroup.com or call this number 800-203-0422 and see how they can help you prepare for retirement today by backing your account with gold and silver. Don't delay your retirement, folks. Protect the money that you earned with Colonial Metals Group. They're here to help. As the Democrat Party, they used to be a very centrist party if you were to look at the political compass. And Americans are mostly fairly centrist. The average person does want a few nice things to happen. They want good government, but they also want to be left alone. And y'all, we haven't been left alone. We've been pushed. We have been prodded. We have been locked down. And if you're in a Democrat state, you knew how bad those were. If you were in a Republican state like Florida or Georgia, they opened it up as fast as they possibly could. And as someone who was working in the medical industry, the whole reason for these lockdowns was they didn't want the hospitals to get completely overwhelmed and have just a cascade failure. That succeeded. It wasn't an attempt to keep you safe, it was an attempt to avoid catastrophe. And it worked, even though the hospitals were trying to be greedy because our warehouse at Owens & Minor was overflowing. We have an opportunity to basically stick it to the very people who won in 2020. Because this is their team, all right? We saw the complete decline of Joe Biden. He was lucid in 2020. We started noticing signs in 2021, and when he fell off of his bicycle in something straight out of West Wing, we figured out that, hey, this guy's starting to lose it. And just the other day, a very, very tired Joe Biden said, I think that his supporters are garbage. You know, this is nothing new. It used to be those Northeast liberals, and then it was the West Coast liberals, and how they hate all the people in flyover country. We know. We've known this for years. Liberal people and Democrats do not like Republicans. Republicans can tolerate Democrats, but Democrats do not tolerate Republicans. We are sitting currently at a crossroads. This is either the high tide, like in the Battle of Gettysburg, they call it the high tide of the Confederacy, which I actually kind of disagree with, but that's not the point. This is either the high tide of a movement to at least rip back some of the power and some of the problems that has been shoved down our throats. We have had to watch as our streets are strewn with pride flags. Now, I don't care if you have a pride flag. Just, keep it to yourself. Can you not just keep it to yourself? No, they have to push the agenda in our schools. They have to push the agenda in our movies. I've had to basically detach from all Hollywood, from everything out of Hollywood for the past 4 or 5 years because I can't stand this woke garbage being shoved down our throats and in such a weird and terrible way. We are not being left alone. We are being pushed by a bunch of people who have moved so far to the left that Joseph Stalin is going, wait a minute, what's going on here? They have embraced essentially what is Maoism, and where you try to completely and totally change the culture. Yeah, that doesn't happen naturally, okay? What they're doing can happen naturally and over time. But they tried to speed run it, and they lied to us about what's going on. There's sort of the, this didn't happen, like the Haitians were eating cats in Springfield. They actually were, okay? There are recorded incidents. Well, it doesn't happen a lot. Actually, this is a good thing, and if you don't like this thing, you're a bad person. We have seen this play out time and time again. The media is pushing a narrative, and it's because they cater to rich white liberals. They've realized that that's their meat and potatoes, and they have to serve that on a platter to placate these people. This is the dominant class that I keep talking about time and time again. And that's why everything is so crazy. These people think that all Americans live in these nice little gated communities, in these shady parts of town. There's no crime around here. What are you talking about? I don't see a homeless person walking around here. Well, yeah, that's because you have policemen who keep them off this side of the streets. Have you ever been to the National Mall at night? You will not find a homeless man there because the police actually kick them out and make sure that they are not wanted there. We have a crisis on our hands. We have had inflation destroy savings. I have gone from shopping at Costco and Publix, to put it mildly, to hoping I can afford Aldi and Lidl, okay? I am eating the knockoff brands of knockoff brands. I shouldn't be eating that anyways. But y'all, we have an opportunity to elect a man who is fundamentally flawed. Oh yeah, Trump's a flawed person. Yeah, he's getting up there in age. I get that. Oh yeah, he says some mean, nasty things. But I don't care anymore. And now they're trying to Epstein him all over again. There was a big drop of new evidence of the link between Trump and Epstein at the 11th hour of the campaign. That's the exact same thing that got me to vote for him in 2016. Do you think it's going to work again? Absolutely not. We have an opportunity to elect a man who took a bullet and he immediately got up, wanted to make sure the crowd knew what was going on, and has the iconic fight, fight, fight. Things were better under Trump. Things were good under Trump. I would rather have mean tweets and cheap gas than have to deal with Kamala Harris, who, as basically, she's pretty much the acting president. It's actually Jill Biden that's running things, but I can't afford 4 more years of Kamala. All right? And I pronounce her name correctly because this is my important message. Oh wait, no, never mind, I got that wrong. But that's not what matters. What matters is today is election day. If you haven't already, go to the polls and vote for this man. Vote for Donald Trump. Vote for the vice president who had his entire opinion on him changed because he saw how good of a job he did. Vote for Donald Trump and J.D. Vance. Please. My wallet, quite literally, can't afford 4 more years of this nonsense. And I am tired of watching the woke garbage being pushed down my throats and the throats of literal children. This is insane. It must stop. And this coalition is so big that it can potentially dominate politics for decades to come. This is a lifetime opportunity. But as I said, it's not the most important, but it will be the second most. This is either the high tide or this is the new tide. And I firmly believe, just as Benjamin Franklin said, he looked at this chair in Independence Hall that George Washington occupied. And when Washington would get up, it would reveal a half sun. And so he wondered to himself, is this a rising sun or a setting sun? I believe it's rising, but it can't without enough votes. Please go to the polls. Folks, my name is Brian. Hope you enjoyed that segment here on Political Brawl. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Catch you on the next one. And until then,